The gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Carter.
Thank you very much. I move to strike the last word.
Without objection.
I want to thank my colleague for offering this amendment. As a former state legislator, I know firsthand what provider taxes mean for states like Louisiana. Imposing a moratorium on new or increased provider taxes is simply Republicans' plan to restrict what a state can do in the future with their Medicaid program. Yes, you heard it right. The party in favor of so-called states' rights is controlling what states can do and can't do with their provider taxes. As everyone on this committee knows, provider taxes are a critical source of revenue that states like Louisiana use to finance their state's share of Medicaid costs. That's why proposals restricting states' ability to carry out the provider taxes should be seen for exactly what they are: Medicaid funding cuts and a tax on people who rely on Medicaid for health coverage. What does this mean for Americans and Louisianians on Medicaid? It means health coverage losses, less money for Medicaid, people off the rolls. Unfortunately, less Medicaid funding leads to tough decisions. Louisiana policymakers could be forced to cut services and kick people off Medicaid, or consider reducing income eligibility levels for mandatory eligibility groups, such as children, pregnant women, and parents/caretakers. Almost half of the population in my district relies on Medicaid for health coverage. The effects of this proposal will be extremely devastating for people in my district, the state of Louisiana, and the people across the country who rely on Medicaid for health care. I will tell you, when we expanded Medicaid in Louisiana, we put tons of people on the rolls who had been the ward of emergency rooms, which was a burden on the system. We also took the state from a fiscal cliff and brought them into a point where resources were available to reopen rural hospitals, where up until then, many of these communities did not have access to hospitals. The reverse will also be true. If we take away these provider taxes, the state will have no choice but to reduce the amount of people they can serve. And when they reduce the amount of people they can serve, rural hospitals will in fact close. It's a domino effect. Follow the dollars. That is what the net effect is going to be. While on its face, it sounds good to say, this is just trying to take baby steps. Well, these baby steps are steps that will hurt people who are barely trying to step at all. I implore you to take a long look at the science. Look at the fact that these are people and not simply numbers on a spreadsheet. I yield.